let's go ahead and count them down to the first game of today's first match. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. There we go. We got our start from Alejo, and we got G starting shortly after. Of course, this is round 1 in the Futures circuit. And qualifications this month were pretty intense. I mean, even to make it in the Future circuit, you kind of had to fight for it. So far, things are looking pretty calm. The players stacking up pretty nicely. But G's off to a fantastic opener here. He's only had to take a couple of burn lines. Fortunately, that eyepiece came a little bit too late in this eyepiece dependency. It is proving to be pretty complicated. Double J-piece dependent now. Does get some good pieces. Love an eyepiece down the center. Covers up the well. Or the hole, rather. It's not even a Tetris well. Alejo utilizing this opportunity up to a 2 Tetris lead just about. Some minor complications also kind of forming for Alejo. But there it is, Tetris for Alejo. 179,000 to 112,000. G is able to get out of that situation. Definitely was a tedious burn, or tedious dig rather. But overall, able to maintain a very clean stack, trailing by around 70,000 points. Another Tetris for G's. And a Tetris for Alejo. And a lot of L and J's over there for G's. But things look pretty calm for both players so far. There it is, Tetris for Alejo. And another Tetris for Alejo. G's knocks one down, finally breaks the 200k threshold. Potentially down by around 50,000 or so in terms of actual pace. But an actual score is down by around 70,000. It's gonna knock down 2 quick Tetrises. Yeah, there you go. Down by around 40,000 in terms of pace. Great pieces over there for the left. And G's knocks down a Tetris 275 to now 340. And both players just playing a very respectful 18. Very minimum issues have been experienced, at least in this mid portion of 18. We do know that at the beginning of the game, G's did run into some complications. Not necessarily in danger of topping out, just wasn't able to really get clean in scoring position soon enough, allowing Alejo to build up the lead that he currently has. And there it is. Tetris for G's was starting to get up a little bit high. Another Tetris, bring the stack down to comfortable levels. And interestingly enough, decides to go for the double wide approach instead of getting immediately Tetris ready. It's going to take a skim, Tetris ready now, as Alejo knocks down another Tetris. 414 at 97 lines. G's at 351 at 90, make that 374 at 99 lines. So the lead hasn't really changed in terms of pace. Both players are keeping up with each other pretty steadily here in 18. There's another Tetris for G's and Alejo. And a couple of S's over there for G's. Fortunately, there's a good spot for basically all of them. It is going to be L dependent. There is Tetris for G's. Alejo actually in a little bit of trouble. There's still a bit of time left till transition. Alejo needs to go for a couple of flat burns. And oh no, the misdrop from Alejo. Had the burn set up, but Alejo's going to top it at 465. G's only needs one Tetris in order to surpass the score. And Tetris for G's, and that's going to do it. Game 1 goes to G's. It was a great 18 played by both players. But G's just able to come out on top. All right, looks like we got hover 3s from both players, so they're ready to get directly into game number 2. So let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. See, we got the sync over there for Alejo. But Alejo and G's actually had very good game number 1 on 18. Alejo just got into a tough situation and had the right piece for the burn, but fortunately made a small error. And this board isn't necessarily looking too comfortable. Could try and go for some column 3 shenanigans, but is going to decide to keep it simple, go for column 10. And once again, that allows G's to kind of get off to an early start here. We did see in game 1 that G's was able to have nearly a flawless opener for like the first 19 or 19, 20-ish lines or so. And unfortunately got into a situation where this one long bar dependency kept being perpetuated. Always, as soon as the long bar came, just really couldn't utilize it to put in that dependency. And so with the board in control like this over here for G's, should be able to maintain a pretty comfortable lead. And right now, Alejo's trying to maintain the stack. Actually going to go for a row 2 Tetris. Nice versatility being on display right there. Fortunately, these pieces aren't necessarily the easiest to deal with. Alejo's just going to try and burn this out. Going to be trailing by nearly 100,000 points here. And Alejo's still trying to burn out. Thank you so much for the raid, Suki. Hope you had a great stream. 194,000 for G's. 117,000. Make that 124,000 for Alejo. It's brought the stack down, so we are making progress. But G's is now officially more than doubled Alejo's score. $286 now for G. He's going to set up an overhang. He has great pieces to solve the overhang as well. Unfortunately, the pieces that follow aren't the best. But Alejo's not necessarily in an ideal position to capitalize off of just that small slowdown from G's. And G's kind of in the territory of being up by 150,000 points. Definitely a surmountable lead if something disastrous were to happen on the post transition, or even just get into like a 40 burn dig here on 18. But of course that implies that Alejo is in a position to capitalize off of said situation. And oh, not quite Tetris right there. That's going to be a triple. And Alejo still trying to find a way to bring this down to the bottom. And Alejo finally in a position to score just a standard Tetris. As a matter of fact, set up. And there it is, a Tetris for Alejo. Very tough headwinds Alejo had to go through to get access to scoring Tetrises again. And fortunately, it's going to be put on hold a little bit. Having to do a couple of burns. There it is, Tetris for Alejo. 266 to 463. And there isn't too much of a line discrepancy, so this is a true nearly 200,000 point lead for G's. G's is running into a couple of tough pieces, though. Not necessarily pieces that you would want to have. And we are nearing the transition. LP's dependency created and shortly resolved. Jeez, would love to get an eyepiece. Can try and go for row 2 Tetrises after that. But, man, there it is. There's the eyepiece. This is going to be a triple. Alejo's been able to make a minor comeback. Whereas being on the cusp of being down by 200,000 points has now cut it down to 150,000 deficit. Make that 130,000 deficit. We'll be reaching transition very shortly over here for G's. And it's setting up for Leftwell. He is a tapper, so can still get things a little bit more reliably to the left, but doesn't mean that it's easy. And G's is going to transition at 492, scores the Tetris, goes up to 516. Alejo, only 2 lines remaining to burn. Alejo transitions at 387, but that left side, unless Alejo is going to be able to roll some pieces over, and it's not going to be to any avail. Alejo tops out at 388, so G's is good for game number 2. Oh yeah, geez, you are good. Looks like we do have a hover 3 from Alejo, and G's ready to get right back into it. So get back into it we shall. Let's go ahead and get these players counted down for game number 3. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Once again, nailed the sync for Alejo. I'm like 2 for 3. And wow, we got a secret grade opener over here from G's. And it's not just your typical secret grade opener either. It's a secret grade opener that's kind of like in the center. So, definitely not something we're quite used to seeing. But it's a nice change of pace. This is actually one of the few 20-line openers from G's that we've seen in this match where it hasn't resulted in just some heightened level of efficiency. And this time it's Alejo that's in a position to potentially capitalize. The double J dependency is going to be rough to deal with. And it's going to probably have to rely on a long bar to go down in that well, burn a triple, or... oh, the hang on top. And another hang on top of that. Alejo's going to have an early top out at 74,000. Jeez, you need 75,000. At this point, a Tetris and I believe a double will do it. 75,000 is the score that G's needs. There's a single. He used to burn 74, 860. And that triple's gonna do it. G's takes game number 3 and advances to the next round. With that being said, let's go ahead and get our next match up, which is going to be Smooth versus Radux. Of course, while we get that set up, if you want to qualify for next month's tournament, type in !qual. If King can win a Classic Tetris Monthly tournament 3 times, then surely you'll be able to win one eventually. But also, to be fair, just like players are just simply cracked nowadays. Hope you guys are also enjoying the commentary, enjoying the matches. All right. Actually, looks like things are already set up. Both players look clean. Would appear that we don't have cam for Smooth, but we do have cam for Radux. So it's pretty chill. Of course, when both players... Oh, there's the cam. Look at that. Both players are ready either in the chat or with hover 3s or ready on screen if you have Jim. Oh, looks like we have an opportunity for same piece sets. Never mind. Well, I mean, the opportunity still existed. It's just, it was declined. To be fair. Hydrant ROM SPS is the superior version of same piece sets. Even though it was like exclusive to players with like EverDrive and players that played on emulator. Best same piece set ROM. All right, we do got it ready from both players, non-same piece set match, but let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. I'd say that sync was pretty close. What do you guys give that sync out of like 10? I'd say that was like an 8 out of 10. In my humble and personal opinion. Probably not as spot on as it was with Alejo. To start things off, both players off to a pretty okay start here. And Smooth right now in a little bit of trouble. However, knowing Smooth's play, this is definitely a situation he can survive. Would love to get an L piece or an I piece here. Goes for the S double. Gets the L piece to open up the well. Great down stacking over there from Smooth. It's just going to commit to the triple, open up the well. And Tetris for Smooth. Amazing survival. However, Radux is going to go up to a 60,000 point lead. Has maintained a clean stack throughout this entire time, and Smooth also going to be a little bit ahead in lines. There's another Tetris for Radux. 145,000 to 90,000. But see what I was saying? I wasn't, wasn't necessarily concerned on whether or not Smooth would have been able to survive that situation. Because, to be honest, Smooth is an insane tapper. Kind of reminds me of the days when Eric was a tapper. How Eric would just survive these crazy situations. So Smooth is definitely capable of getting out of those kind of situations. However, anytime you go through a dig, you gotta pay a price. And beautiful T-spin tuck over there for Smooth, set up for a slightly dirty center wheel Tetris. And the price for Smooth of surviving that was almost a 100,000 point lead. Ooh, interesting delayed burn over there from Smooth. Does get all the right pieces, opens up the well here. Still center well, and on row 2, Radux going with row 3 right well Tetrises. Pumpy saying that if Smooth loses this, has to go for same piece sets for now on. But Smooth, nice, able to get that T-piece over. Not out of the situation just yet. That I-piece is going to help. Almost misdropped it, but was able to correct it in time. Opens up this well. Going to be looking for an L-piece sooner or later. Or an I-piece. Either or would work. There's the I-piece. Radux now almost up to a 200,000 point lead. And Smooth, great burns, able to knock down a Tetris. Two scary survival situations already. And it's also a good deal ahead in lines. Radux, on the other hand, having to do a couple of burns. Nothing too serious. Is going to be J-piece dependent, but gets a J-piece to fill in said dependency. Smooth is clean on row 1. Able to consistently score Tetrises now. And I like the way that Radux approached that situation. Was able to get a cleaner stack, and although, yeah, it took 4 burn lines to deal with it, overall, you have almost a 200,000. Well, actually, it's been cut down to around 140,000 points. So you have almost 150,000 point lead. There's no reason for you to try and play at peak efficiency. If you have an opportunity to clean up your board and have a more comfortable position, more often than not, especially when you have a lead, it's better to go for the cleaner position. However, Smooth is starting to gain some momentum. It's cut the lead down to only 100,000 points. Quick Tetris for Radix there. Would love to see a J-piece. Double I-piece, that is much wanted over there for Radux. 1 Mino off of being Tetris ready. And we do got to keep in mind, Radux is slightly behind in lines as well. Radux is going to set up a delay burn. These pieces are actually starting to be a little bit tricky over here for Radux. There's a Tetris. Smooth is going to transition at 401,000. All things considered, very nice recovery in terms of just overall pace, especially towards that latter part of level 18. Radux will transition on the next cleared line. And, oh, Radux is going for the level Tetris. There's definitely some risk associated with this, but it gets scored. Radux transitions at 533. Smooth at 454. Tetris ready. Radux now trying to get the board under control. Beautiful flat burn over there for Smooth. Still having to do some burning and up a little bit high. Nice column 3 Tetris over there for Radux. Able to get a well transfer and start building for right well Tetrises. Smooth still trying to find a way to navigate through this eyepiece dependent on the right hand side. There it is. Great. Gets the eyepiece. Amazing sequence of pieces right there. Smooth gonna be able to last a little bit longer here. And nice placements and burns. Radux in the middle of a drought, it would appear, and is looking for a long bar. Gonna just take the safety triple. 130,000 point lead. Smooth knocks down a Tetris, and so does Radux. 500,000 for Smooth, 630,000 for Radux. Radux is also almost a full level behind as Smooth knocks down another Tetris. What players had to... Oh, nice adjustment over there for Radux into a Tetris as well. 686 for Radux. Smooth at 558 here on level 23. Both players seem to have a comfortable stack, more or less. Smooth with the Vits, and also created another long bar dependency in addition to the Vits. Still is open, able to get the eyepiece to execute it, but a second eyepiece came when the well was covered. It's going to be looking for a third eyepiece or J. That J goes beautifully over there. Great T pieces. Radux now almost up to a 200,000 point lead, but Smooth is able to recover and knocks down a Tetris. 605 for Smooth. Radux is in a little bit of a precarious situation, but gets all the necessary pieces and knocks down 2 quick Tetrises. 786 to now 636. Smooth kind of running out of time here. It's going to have to be relying on 29 playability if Radux keeps this up. But Smooth is not one person to give up. As a matter of fact, they're quite perseverant. And oh, that hang on the long bar and another hang on top. Smooth is going to top it at 671. Radux, in quite commanding fashion, takes game number 1. All right, we got readies from both players. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Kind of mistyped the command there. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Game number 2. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. That was like a 4. Oh. Nice little double A, double J, or not double A, double L, double J formation right there for Smooth. It's definitely an interesting opener. Radix is going to score the first Tetris, but is going to have to do a little bit more burning. Or it looks like both players going to be kind of in a similar position. Smooth only able to burn 1 less line here in the opener, but that can change. Unless you're Fractal and you're just going to, you know, continue to play perfect for, you know, 100 lines or so. There's Smooth. Opens up the well. There's a Tetris for Smooth. Radux holding out for this eyepiece. Eyepiece nowhere to be found. So it takes a safety double. And ooh, a couple complicated situations kind of arriving for Radux here. Can try and go for a dirty Tetris, and it looks like that's what is the aim here. Eyepiece is going to be wanted soon. There it is. There's 1 Tetris for Radux, and okay, not going to go for the second one. Smooth also in a similar position. Not quite Tetris ready. Radux is Tetris ready for another dirty. There's a dirty Tetris for Radux. Smooth, on the other hand, experiencing a good amount of complications. Nicely done. I like the way that Smooth played that. Try to keep that that well open so an eyepiece can go down there in the center. Eyepiece, all right, able to get it over to the left. Radux has cleaned up the board and is now ready to score consistent, clean Tetrises if the eyepiece will come. There's a triple, followed up by a double. Radux still looking for an eyepiece here. Smooth almost out of this, and there it is, Tetris for Radux. Even though both players are not playing the same piece sets in this match, there's definitely a pretty equal distribution of rough sequences being handled from both players. Smooth able to finally bring the stack all the way down, open it up and score. Tetris goes up to 167. Radux is at 233. Another Tetris for Smooth. So around 2 Tetris lead for Radux. Nothing as extreme as what we saw in the first game, but definitely a lead. Radux sets up a delayed Vits, has a long bar dependency in the center of the stack. It is going to be Tetris ready, but is going to be relying on another long bar to clean up. That can try and go for row 2. Smooth, however, was not in a position to capitalize, and able to knock down a Tetris, still going to be trailing by 40,000 points. And, you know, in situations like that, especially, that's a perfect opportunity for Smooth to equalize the score differential. There's one Tetris over there for Smooth. One Tetris away from Radix's current score, as Radix now trying to have to burn out of this. And the solution to this isn't quite transparent. It was a little bit opaque at the beginning, but Perfect J, Smooth with that Tetris finally takes the lead. However, Radix has gotten things cleaned up. Very contested game number 2 we have here. There's Tetris for Radix, 319 to 312. Smooth knocks down a Tetris, but is now going to be relying on another eyepiece to help execute some burns. And, ooh. Okay, Smooth was going for something a little bit interesting there. Unfortunately, the pieces did not quite play out as Smooth would have liked. And this is going to allow Radix an opportunity. And RNG provides the long bar for Radix to capitalize on the opportunity. Radix goes back into the lead at 366. Beautiful plays over here for Radix. Smooth now trying to get cleaned up. And, you know, it's just always unfortunate whenever you try and set up for a particular burn setup. And if you get the right pieces, it would have been an efficient solve. However, if you don't get the right pieces, it kind of leaves you into this very prolonged dig situation. And just like that, when we got to a moment where things were equalized, as a matter of fact, Smooth had the lead, it is now Radux that is up by another 2 Tetris lead. And Radux is also behind in lines as well. But the transition looms here. 3 Tetrises left possible for Radux, 2 for Smooth with perfect play. And an eyepiece does come to fill in said dependency, or fill in the eyepiece dependency that was on the board. Tetris for Radux can afford one more. Smooth transitions at 425. And Radux, actually, nice flat burn. Clean well. This is a perfect board state for level 19. And Radux transitions at 492. Another Tetris for Radux as Smooth is still trying to deal with these complications. Radux is set up. Smooth also set up. A little bit of a misdrop over there for Radux. He's in a dangerous situation. That's going to be a double. Smooth knocks down a Tetris followed up by a triple. 522 for Radux, 472 for Smooth. Smooth also ahead in lines, but Radux, wow, complicated set of pieces. Not going to go for the delay burn. Finds an alternative solution now. Jade piece dependent. Throws the I piece over. Now L piece dependent. Goes for the flat J burn. Very creative solves here up high. Beautiful survival over there by Radux. Followed up by a Tetris. 568 to now 507. That was so meticulously downstacked. Smooth, on the other hand, now having to deal with more complications, and Radux, like, no issue ever happened. It's now just on a Tetris spree here. 624, 100,000 point lead. There is 653 for Radux. Smooth, almost down to the bottom. Another Tetris for Radux right there. 682, 170,000 point lead. And this is following after a massive dig as well. Smooth now going to start to commit for off right wheel solves here, going for a column 8. There is one column 8 Tetris. And Smooth's just going to burn it off. There it is, Tetris for Radux, 744. Almost a 100,000 point lead, or 200,000 point lead. Ridiculous play. But Smooth also starting to step on the gas a little bit. There it is, Tetrises for both players, 644 to now 778. There is another Tetris for Radux. 8-13. Smooth still trying to combat this. Goes for the flat L placement. Fortunately, passed up an opportunity utilized for a Tetris. There's a Tetris for Smooth. Radux now trying to look for a way to kind of deal with that T gap in the stack. 8-31 now for Radux. Smooth starting to make some headway. 7-19 now for Smooth. Gets the eyepiece fill in the dependency. Going for all these aggressive overhangs. Another Tetris for Smooth. Radux is cleaned up. 8-40 here going into level 28. Smooth, however, 7-58 going into level 28. So for the column 3, Radux at 8-75. There it is, Tetris. And oh, Smooth is going to commit to the column 3. Could have tried. Yeah, Smooth is going for it. 9-10 over here for Radux. Is Smooth going to try and go for the extra? It might have to require some prolonged 29 play. There's one Tetris. Smooth holding out for a T-piece to maybe go for a tuck, but it's not going to be to any avail. Double kill screen. 9-15 for Radux. 8-65 for Smooth. Radux takes game number 2. Honestly, Smooth, I feel that. Great game, though, from both players. Wait, who's the best player from Chile? If they're the second or third. Well, honestly, I feel like Teba is a little bit better than Heist. But both players are ready, so let's go ahead and count them down. Game number 3. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. I mean, based on what I've seen from Radux so far, you can argue that Radux can definitely be the top Chilean player. Of course, this is one match, and you decide those things after a great deal of matches. But being that this is my first time commentating over Radux and also seeing the play, this is phenomenal. I do hope to see Radux at a Classic Tetris Chile. That should be an exciting event. But to start things off, Radux had an almost flawless opener. There it is, Tetris for Smooth. Radux at 99. And Radux actually looks like, or no, gonna go for the left well. Definitely on 18, you know, there's not as much risk going for the left one. Speaking about risk, oh my gosh, Smooth is gonna top it at 82. Played way too risky there. And Radux kind of not in any better of a situation. So it looks like we're gonna have double sweeps. So Radux takes game number 3. So up next, we're going to have G's versus Radux to see who will be our bracket winner. And I, for one, can't wait to get into it. Hey, Smooth. Maybe a same piece as might have been the move. True, Pumpy. But of course, if you're enjoying the show, and you want to continue to support monthly Tetris, you know, why not drop a sub? It helps, you know, support all the things that Vandy, Pumpy Heart, and all the other super streamers and everything do here on the channel. And if you have, you know, Twitch Prime, I mean, it is, you know, I wouldn't say it's a brand new month, but it's, you know, a little bit fresh in January. So why not hit us up with that Twitch Prime? Show your support for the premier Classic Tetris event. All right. Yes. Classic Tetris Monthly is the premier Classic Tetris event. And then if you want to, and then Gauntlet is the premier Classic Tetris team event. See? Different market share. It seems that both of you guys have gym. Did you want to do same piece sets, or do you feel same as Smooth here? True. You see it? All right, well, looks like another decline of same piece sets. So both players, as soon as we do got it ready from Radux and we got a hover 3 from G's, let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. You see, that's the strategy. You know, you talk about different events in Classic Tetris. Your goal is to get different market share. So CTM, they have the market share of, you know, the 1v1 individual focus tournaments, right? And then CTO, it has like the focus on the league format. And then Gauntlet has the focus on the team format. So all different market share, allowing for more variety and versatility when it comes to what you can play on Classic Tetris. If you want to find out more about these events, you could join the Discord server, the CTM Discord server, and that links to everything else. It's like the perfect hub for all things Tetris, or all things Classic Tetris, rather. Anyways, to start things off here in the first game, G's with another efficient opener here. We saw a bit of that happen between G's and Alejo. And ooh, Radux, a little dangerous. Still find, oh, perfect pieces right there. The LZ combination was amazing. Couple of Tetrises for Radix, goes up to 169. Is going to be ahead in lines. Radux clean, both players clean, and Tetris ready. There's Tetris for Radux and Tetris for G's. Clean play so far. $253 to now $241. G's with the advantage here, but looks like both players are kind of synchronized, just scoring Tetrises back and forth. Nice placement over there for G's. Like that overhang. Radux having to set up a slightly delay burn. Gets the perfect piece, so it's going to be trailing by around 40,000 points, maybe 60,000, if an eyepiece comes in a relatively good standing for G's. But Regardless, still very close game, and all it takes is for G's to run into one situation. Another Tetris for G's, 368 to 338. 30,000 points separating them just about. Great LT over there for Radux into a Tetris. There's Tetris for G's, 415 to now 363. $461 now for G's. So around 60,000 point lead, a little bit less, more like 53,000. So, but both players going to have, I believe, some of the highest transitions that we've seen all day today. 506 at 95 lines for G's. Unfortunately, G's not getting ideal pieces. If an I piece does come, can still score Tetris. And oh, that was a big if. G's got to get an I piece over to the left or something. G's gonna top it at 509. Radux, you need 510. T-Storm casually jinxing G's here. And that Tetris is going to do it. Radux takes game number 1. But what a terrifying pace G's had in that game. 500 at 95 lines. Tremendous game. All right, it looks like we got a ready from Radux and a hover 3 from G's. So let's go ahead and count down game number 2. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. So, game 1 went in favor of Radux. G's, on the other hand, demonstrated some incredibly efficient play all the way up until he topped out. And Radux wasn't too far behind, anywhere from 2 to 3 Tetrises behind at all times in terms of pace. So it was going to, if the game went to post transition, it was definitely going to be a close one. And ooh, Radux, this situation in the center, yeah, it's not looking too hot. I do like the decision to go ahead and try and mitigate it, placing that long bar in column 10. There's a row 2 Tetris over there for Radux. And that's one thing that I've noticed, as I mentioned, you know, in matches prior, this is my first time watching Radux play. And Radux likes to do a couple of moves where essentially seems like he always wants to have a comfortable stack and doesn't want to play too aggressive. And we've seen the kind of success that led into the matchup against Smooth. So in terms of just competitive strategy, Radux has a pretty, I want to say efficient, but efficient and viable are two words that I use to describe how Radux decides to play competitive. Of course, this is just, you know, from a first look, but from the way I see it, you know, a lot of placements and a lot of solves kind of stem from that willingness to take a couple more burns to get a board state that is more comfortable. And something that's not necessarily comfortable right now is this particular board state. So Radux is going to have to be spending some time burning. Could get dangerous. Was double J dependent. Great pieces over there for Radux. Needs to find a way to burn. Fortunately, eyepiece came a tad bit too late there. G's now in position, and G's takes the lead. And oh, the aggressive plays over there for Radux. Wow, that is insane. actually going for the J to the left side and then setting up the S flat up this high. And oh, that's a really tough delay burn. Radux has to get it several combination of pieces, and oh, it's not gonna happen. Early top out for Radux. Jeez, ties up the set 1-1. All right, looks like we have a ready from both players. So let's go ahead and count them down. Game number 3. Things are getting interesting. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. All right, both players are started. Was definitely an impressive feat over there by Radux, going for that J placement. Oh, thanks for pointing that out, Cobra. This is round 2. And oh, G's setting up for a dirty Tetris right there. Both players have already taken at least 4 burns. Oh, the Corion adjustment. $118 now for Radux. G's at 95,000, and I'm not entirely sure what a efficient way to downstack this would be. So this is going to be rather costly, and Radux, beautiful stack. All right. Oh, perfect double eyepiece right there. Radux was able to capitalize, build up almost a 100,000 point lead. And, oh, okay. Interesting placements over here from G's. I kind of like the ideas behind it. If only a T-piece were to come. T-piece came a tad bit too late there. So this is still going to be a pretty costly endeavor. And if Radix can continue to keep the stack clean, can definitely capitalize. And, ooh, Radix, yeah, gonna have to go for that T-spin. And neither player going to be in scoring position. Radux now back ready. There's the Tetris for Radux. 315. Officially has almost double G's score. And the line count is identical too. G's just been stuck in this burn since like almost the beginning of the game. I mean, I knew that trying to get out of it was going to be complicated, but I didn't think it would be dragged out this far. Oh, okay. Can try and go for row 2 here, or just can try and clean out. Radux, on the other hand, 341 to now 174. Geez, finally able to get stacked up for a clean Tetris. And is kind of weary of how that center gets built. All right, perfect eyepiece, Tetris for Radux. And another Tetris for Radux. And G's, there it is. Tetris for G's. 199 to now 391. A little bit over, or a little bit under a 200,000 point lead over here for Radux. And, oh, geez. Fills in the long bar dependency first. Decides to go for the tuck, holding out for an S piece. And oh no, that might be fatal. But Jesus making it work somehow. Oh man. Nice flat burns. Nice. Okay. Still 22 lines left till transition. And oh no, the stack is getting built up again. We're getting closer and closer to that top out mark. G's hits the pole vault, but it's not going to be any use. G's tops it at 233. And with more than double of G's current points, Radux takes game number 3. Wow. Just what a suffer game that G's had to endure. But looks like we do have a ready. So let's go ahead and count them down. I'm doing great today, you know. My headache is gotten a lot better, so I can actually sit at my computer. So that's pog. But enough about me. Let's talk about the players. We're going to count down game number 4. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Start things off, things are looking pretty stable for both players. G's managing to find the first Tetris out of the two. And, oh, Radux actually experiencing some complications. Finding a way to navigate through them. And okay, actually perfect Z burn right there. And I like that Z placement as well. Unfortunately, RNG doesn't necessarily comply. Radux is in trouble. We might be heading to a decider. And Radux has another early top out at 11,000. So to a decider we go. Just really tough situation right there. Just never really had a clean way to burn. The left side was never built up in a ideal situation. But we do have a ready. Game number 5. This is it. This is the decider. Let's go ahead and count them down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. This has definitely been a close match. However, in the games that Radux has won, at least one of them was completely one-sided, and the other simply outlasted G's. And G's had a terrifying pace in that particular game. We're talking about 2 burns, and a 700k was possible. Or rather, you can take 2 burns, and a 700k transition was possible. So definitely a terrifying pace game that G's had. But it's not only that, you know, in the games that Radux topped out, G's just simply outlasted. It wasn't necessarily that. It's those kind of games where Radux essentially beat himself by topping out so early. So here in the decider, neither player has any more chances. And we're gonna see how this affects how both players play. There's Tetris for G's. Gonna take the early lead. And interesting, Radux actually decided to go for the double wide approach. Fortunately, the Z's that followed didn't quite agree with that. But Radux is Tetris ready. She's up to an early lead here. $174 to now $196. Radux trying to deal with this. This could get dangerous. And there it is. That's a triple. Radux can go for Tetrises now. G's actually in a lot of trouble. Eyepiece needs to come right now. And G's is going to top it at 223. And that Tetris is going to do it. Radux advances to the semis. Just being able to survive longer than G's. And both players, to be honest, had a pretty tricky situation to have to deal with. But there it is. There is our bracket winner, Radux. Congratulations, you advanced to the semis. And definitely, you know, great games played around. Oh. Huh. Well, if I win my bracket, that means I could potentially go up against Radux. Interesting. We'll have to see what happens.